Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
I'd like to introduce Nicole Crane. Nicole Crane is Director of Nutrition at Invite Vitamins. Now, there are many vitamin stores. We all know that. They're not on every corner, but they're on a lot of corners. And, of course, if you're like many people, you go in and you don't know what to buy. It may say it's good for joints, it's good for heart, it's good for inflammation, it's good for your smile, whatever they say, it's good for your dog. But when you find a place that you can really count on, that has someone like Nicole Crane, who has been working in this field for many years, even though she's very young, she loves this, then that's where you need to go. She holds a Bachelor of Science in Nutrition from Florida International University, and she's a Nutrition Therapy Practitioner. She is very sweet. She's very careful what she says because she knows how important it is. So we welcome you to our show, Nicole.
Thank you. Hello, how are you today?
I'm very good. And I was just telling Nicole, for those of you who have dogs, if you're not giving them vitamins, you have to start. And if you're giving them vitamins, you have to go by and see the one vitamin supplement container that I don't even know what the name of it is, Nicole, for your dog. Is there a name?
It is. It's just called Pet Multivitamin.
Oh, okay.
So, very, very exotic name that we gave to this product. But it is a wonderful multivitamin. And just like our food, the quality of pet food is not as high as an active and even an older dog would demand. So, yeah, just like we need vitamins and minerals, our pets need those same nutrients to keep their coat healthy and their eyes healthy and their skin and their joints healthy and their digestive tract healthy, and they need to be fed and nourished the same way that we do.
And I'm the proud owner of the pet vitamins, and my pet now thinks that it's a treat, which makes me very happy because she gobbles it down, and I'm very happy that I stopped in there to do this. But if you go into that wonderful Invite Health, which, by the way, let me give you a little location. It's at 2621 North Federal Highway in Boca Raton. It has Suite E, but if you go there may be about 7 or 8 shops, and you'll see it. Let me just tell you, it's so beautifully organized. It's just the way you walk in. It's like when you walk into Saks or you walk into Tiffany. You know, it's very elegant. I've told that to Nicole, and I know I should be telling her how wonderful her vitamins are, and of course that goes without saying. But yet, the way everything's displayed, all the information that you get about it, I think it's worth your going there. And so, if you want to make a phone call to talk to Nicole, if you have a question, you can call her at 561-367-8646. Now, Nicole is not in this by herself. The man, Jerry Hickey, is a real celebrity. He's a pharmacist who's been doing this for years, and this is his company. Is it not Invite Vitamins?
Yes, it is. So most of our products have an HX. So we have the joint HX and the sleep HX and the cognition HX. That is an homage to Jerry Hickey and his first business, Hickey Chemist. And out of Hickey Chemist came Invite Health in way back in 1987. And Jerry is just a brilliant guy, a wonderful guy to work for and to work with. And he reads more research than anybody that I've ever met. So that's how we develop our product line. He recognizes the clinical research, and he shows or he sees that this particular nutrient had this particular effect in a range of people, and that's how our products get formulated. So we are formulating our products from really, really high-quality raw materials using the latest technology and the latest research. So if we indicate a particular dosage, if there's 166 milligrams, there's a reason why there's that dosage in there, or there's a reason why we're sourcing raw materials from a certain company. It's because the research shows and proves that it has this particular effect. And that's why I like holistic medicine, because it actually deals with the function of the body and the structure and how to make everything work more efficiently and work the way nature designed it to work. And our bodies respond very well. when we support and get to the root of the issue in a fundamental way.
Okay, so that being said, tell me about biocircumin. Is it curcumin? Curcumin.
Biocurcumin.
Curcumin.
I'm from New York. I think I have a funny pronunciation. I say biocurcumin. I've heard people pronounce it all sorts of ways.
Okay, we'll say it your way.
Biocurcumin is an extract of turmeric, the spice turmeric, and another special Ayurvedic and Indian herb called baslaya. And together, so the turmeric is a COX-2 inhibitor, which is an inflammatory enzyme, and the baslaya is a 5-LOX inhibitor. And I know that sounds sort of complicated, but these are the two main pathways that turn on inflammation in our body. And we have to remember that inflammation is a healing response. So the body turns on the inflammation. We heal, we bring more blood, more white blood cells, more immune cells into that part of the body that's inflamed, and then it should be resolved and the inflammation should be turned off. So when we have these two very special herbs, you're turning off inflammation after the body has healed. And that's a really important distinction to make. So when you have an NSAID drug, like a Tylenol, you're shutting off inflammation like a light switch. And that's not great for the body because you get stuck in this very vulnerable place where you're not able to heal properly. The joint or the knee, the hip, whatever it is, the back muscle is not able to heal properly, and you become dependent on the painkiller. Otherwise, you have pain. But when you take something like the biocurcumin that resolves the inflammation, you're getting to the root cause, and you're helping the body resolve inflammation in a natural way. And because of the reaction that it has with the immune system, it's a great supporter of healthy immune system and having normal cells. It's a wonderful supporter of inflammation in the brain, so it's great for mood, and it's great for focus, and it's great for concentration. But most people think of it for their heart and their joints because those are the place where inflammation tends to be the most damaging. So I think of it as being amazing for the whole body, but we tend to see the visible results mostly in our joints, in our heart, and in our brain. And I think those are, for most people, the most important parts of their body.
Yeah, I absolutely. The way you put it, it certainly is. And when I think about what you have created there, and you're saying that everything in every bottle on those shelves have gone through research by Jerry Hickey?
Yes.
No kidding.
We make about 200 different products, and some are just single nutrients, single vitamins, single minerals, but a lot of the product formulations are very well researched and very well developed, and we're sourcing raw materials, really high quality raw materials, and I think that makes the most important difference. A lot of companies are sourcing cheap materials, and they're sourcing from China. We want companies that meet our good manufacturing procedures that allow us to bear that seal of making a high quality product, the GMP certification. So we want companies that make raw materials that have done that research, that we can read, that we can say, okay, we know resveratrol improves the function of thyroid, or we know that biocurcumin improves mood better than something like Paxil does, and they've actually done that research with our product and shown that it has that effect. So when we're looking at our research on nutrients, it's a little hard to poke through. So we have the wonderful Jerry Hickey who does that for us, and he comes out on the other side of, after it passes through his amazing brain, we come out on the other side with a product that's great for sleep, or that's great for memory and brain function, or something that's going to rebuild the joints like the collagen. So it's very carefully developed. And because of the quality of the materials, you're going to heal your body, whatever body system it is that you're supporting, in a way that nature intended.
Yep, I'm very impressed, and I don't think there are many places where you can have that said. In fact, it was a few years ago, I recall, where people were taking certain vitamins, and when they were analyzed, that what was said was in the bottle was not.
Well, this is something that happens all the time. It actually happened pretty recently, just a few weeks ago, where they were buying vitamins from the big box guys, and they were testing them, and it turned out that they didn't have the active ingredient, or they had additional ingredients. Sometimes they had allergens. So we take all of our raw materials and we test them through a third-party independent lab, and we test them for purity and potency, and we actually are doing genetic screening of whatever herb it is to make sure that we're getting the herb that we want, and then we take the final product and we do the same thing. So we know that there is going to be an exact percentage of the active component and an exact milligram of the herb or the nutrient or whatever makes up the product. We have that assay to prove that what we say is on the label is there and nothing more and nothing less. And that's also a really important distinction because you get what you pay for. And I always tell people to not buy things that they put in their body at the same place where they buy their patio furniture or their light bulbs.
I love that. Oh, I would never. Actually, that's funny. Even without patio furniture, I wouldn't buy it at the pharmacies because that's not what they do. I agree with you, but the way you put it, that's even funnier. Oh my! No, it's like putting it at go to your pet shop, right? No, that's right.
So it's when you come to and I'm glad that you made that distinction. It's like walking into Saks and you walk into Invite Health.
Right.
We're a boutique vitamin company.
Yep.
And we don't have 15 kinds of calcium and 20 different multivitamins and 30 different kinds of fish oil. We make one or two really good versions of whatever that product is. So it's not hard to navigate.
No, it isn't.
And we have a few different products that support the same body system. So when you come and you chat with me, I'll use my expertise and my experience, and I'll match you up with the product that is going to give you the greatest benefit.
And the thing about Nicole Crane, who is my wonderful guest today, is that she says, look, if it's not right for you, bring it back. I mean, she wants things to be good there. She wants you there forever. She wants you to trust her. And so I heard that the other day that one of my friends bought something and she felt that maybe it wasn't reacting. And Nicole said, bring it back and we'll find something that's going to be better for you, which I admired that a lot. But I want to tell you something that I'm on a hospital board, and they're starting to get art into the hospitals. And I've been doing some research on it. And it says that when things are beautiful, it makes people feel good and it helps to heal. And I was thinking about going into your center, into your beautiful store. And I think that whole feeling, and I like art and I like elegant things. And when I first went in there, I just walked around and I just kept walking around saying, isn't this beautiful? I wasn't even talking about the vitamins. I was just saying, but you see, now let's say that I came in and I needed something for just like, I am taking for my eyes, I forget the name of it, but that I bought there.
Macula, yeah.
Yeah, right, Macula. But the point is that it just gives you confidence. It's so lovely. So I don't want people to discount the way things are organized or the way they look. They're not all jammed together. I mean, you go to a lot of stores and vitamin stores, and you have a choice of 10 different kinds of the same thing. How are you supposed to know which one you should buy? By the price?
Right. Mm-hmm. It is. It can be very daunting to walk into a health food store, especially when you don't know what you need. And if you tell me, so I prefer that people already walk in with a diagnosis because it's not my job to diagnose or treat or cure, but it is my job to support the structure and the function of your body. And that's how we use nutrition, and that's how we use supplements. They support the body and the way that it should work, and we bring you back to health from that regard. So it is. It's a beautiful retail store. I want people to come in and have a great experience, and we have probably a dozen different things that you can try. Our liquid extracts, our bone food powder, and our green food, and our red food, our fruits and our vegetables. So there's a number of things that you can try before you buy it. But it's about having people walk away and feel good about what they purchased and feel confident in what they purchased. And I want you to have the best result that you can have. But it's also about having people believe in what you're selling, and that's why I think it's so important that my role in the store is represented, because I can tell you exactly how every single product works and what the different herbs do and what the different nutrients do and what they'll do for what you're dealing with. Because everybody, myself included, can be in better health. I like to think that I'm pretty close to optimal, but nobody's perfect. And I don't want people to sacrifice the good aiming for perfect. So we take baby steps. and we start with where you are. And one step at a time, we bring you a little closer to vitality and to wellness and to optimal health. And it takes a lifetime. Yeah. It takes a lifetime to learn these things.
My father lived, I guess he was 88, and he was into health food and vitamins like crazy. When I was 12 years old, I remember he and my mother were divorced, and I'd go to his house, and he was juicing, and he was doing everything he could, and he had more vitamins. Like every hour he was taking other vitamins. He was in great health, I will tell you, because at that time, he used to eat all the soy burgers. I mean, I learned how to eat those kinds of things when I was very young because he made them for me, and he was pretty insistent on that. But he always had great health, until he got much, much older. So I do know that these things are very important. And I know my husband is 91, and my husband's in very good health. And he has an awful lot of things he's been taking for a long time. And he's very religious about it. I mean, he is good. And so that's the other thing. If you're going to go there and then you start to take them, you should keep taking them. And the other, one more thing, Nicole, that's interesting. A lot of products say, just to be sure, ask your doctor. Do you know your doctors don't know anything about this stuff?
It's unfortunate, but they don't. The average medical student, actually 25% of medical students get one course in nutrition. So a quarter of all doctors out there only get one nutritional course, which means 75% get nothing. And of course, you're talking to a nutritionist who believes that food is everything, but a lot of doctors underestimate the power of food and underestimate the power of vitamins and minerals and herbs and phytonutrients. But of course, through my eyes, that's how we rebalance the body. That's how we bring the body back to health. And it's not just about making it to that number, that age. It's about feeling good the whole way and wanting to live a long and fruitful life and not being in poor health the last 10 years, the last 20 years of your life. You want to have wellness through the whole length of your life. And I'd like to live to be 100. I know my parents are also on board, but it's sort of back to the first point you made with growing up. I was also raised by hippies, so we grew up eating whole grains and eating organic and juicing, and we were vegetarian and microbiotic when I was a kid in the 80s. And I realized when I was becoming an adult, when I was 18 and 19, when I was picking my course of study in college, that nobody got what I got growing up. Nobody knew what organic food was, and the majority of my friends had no idea what it tasted when you had a tomato out of the garden, or when you had spinach and broccoli fresh out of your own garden. And I wanted to share that with other people and give back what I was given and what I grew up with, because most people didn't grow up that way, and they grew up eating processed foods and drinking soda. And now in their 40s and 50s and even in their 30s, they're having ill health as a result of eating a processed food diet from being very young. So it is mostly about what you eat, but it's also about the supplements that you take and making sure that you're getting the vitamins and minerals that the body needs, because our food supply today doesn't offer it any longer. Our soil is not nutrient dense any longer, and our food travels great distances to get to our plates, and that really affects the nutrient content. So some people most people should take a multivitamin and should take a krill oil, which is an omega-3 fatty acid source, because most people aren't getting them in their diets. And because so much of our food supply has antibiotics, people need the probiotics, the good bacteria, to be put back in their digestive tract. So there's a lot of room to make up for what our food doesn't give us any longer. And you can do that with just a couple of supplements, and it makes a world of difference in how your body functions.
Well, Nicole, so let's just go on that probiotic subject a minute. So if I eat some yogurt, the Greek yogurt, every day, do I still need the probiotic? Because that is a probiotic, isn't it? It depends.
Right. So as long as that probiotics is live active cultures, most of them are only 4 or 5 strains. Most of them are only a few thousand, maybe 1 billion colony-forming units CFU. Our probiotic is a 5-strain, 8.6 billion, but we give you a diversity of strains. So mostly in yogurt, you get the lactobacillus strains, the acidophilus strains that come from dairy. But we have thousands and thousands of strains in our gut. And if you're just doing yogurt, it's like only eating broccoli. Broccoli is amazing, but we need to eat a wide range of fruits and vegetables to be in good health. So I'm a big fan of fermented foods. I'm a big fan of yogurt as long as there's not too much sugar. But I think it does matter a bit more to take a probiotic supplement that gives you a greater diversity and certainly a much, much higher potency. You'd have to eat 100 cups of yogurt to get to one capsule of our probiotic.
Well, that's a very good point. Absolutely. Do you make your own yogurt?
I actually do make my own yogurt, but
I used to
I've been doing that for
I haven't had
years,
time.
and I enjoy it.
Right. It's so easy. I know I used to have a little yogurt maker, but I guess I don't know why I stopped. But is it better to do that than to buy what we buy in the store? That's a stupid question, I'm sure.
Of course, I think anything that you make at home is better than store-bought, but there are also some really good yogurts out there. In general, I like for the grams of protein to be higher than the grams of sugar, not the grams of total carb, but the grams of sugar. And I want people to be eating full-fat, organic, grass-fed yogurt. So most of the time, that's not how we eat yogurt. We're eating yogurt that has too much sugar and it's fat-free, and you end up with all of that sugar. And yes, there's a little protein, but there's not enough fat to hold back. And because there isn't the naturally occurring cream, the naturally occurring fat in the yogurt, they end up putting a lot of sugar and a lot of binders and things to hold it together, where the fat in a regular yogurt is what holds it together and gives it that wonderful mouthfeel. So I have very high standards for yogurt, but as long as it's a 2 or 4% milk fat, and as long as it's organic and you're getting protein and it's not too sweet, and it's a live active culture, then it's a good yogurt. But most of what's out there in your average food store doesn't meet my standards. So I think making your own is great, but if people don't have time for that, you can still take a probiotic and get everything you need in a really easy-to-take capsule. It's 1 per day.
Right. I was thinking something, too. I couldn't wait to tell you about this. I go to a wonderful little market. It's very locally grown things and all. And I just bought some whey butter. Have you ever tasted whey butter?
I have. It's been years, but
They just got some in, and I got it. It's fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's
it's
good.
Very traditional tasting.
Right, and it's only 50%, they said, of the calories of butter.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So you approve of whey butter?
Parts of, I think it's really hard to get, but you do get a lot of protein in there, which is kind of unique. So,
do you want me to do you want me to buy you one as a gift?
Oh, sure.
I know it's your birthday. It's your birthday. I'm going to buy you one.
Oh, thank you. It is. It's my birthday on Friday.
I know. It's coming up. So I want to make sure. So you do approve of it and you like it.
I do like it. I'm a dairy and cheese fan, so I feel bad for people that are dairy intolerant and have to remove it from their diet. But man, do I love cheese. I love chocolate too, but cheese has a very special place in my heart. But it has to be really high quality cheese. It has to be grass fed the way our cows are meant to eat. So just like when we eat a highly processed, high grain diet, we don't have good health. We do the same thing to our cows. We feed them corn and we feed them grain when they should be getting sunlight and eating grass. And you end up with a dairy product that is completely different from the naturally, traditionally raised cows that are eating grass and getting sunlight and out to pasture.
You know, Nicole, I think this is a good conversation because I think people, even though we could be talking more about the biocurcumin and all, but the fact that they know you through this conversation, I think they'll have a lot of confidence going into your store. And I will, as soon as I can, I'll make sure that they only got a few of them in. I think they was trying it, but I will make sure that I get you some. And I love talking with you. Tell people when the show is, because you do a lot of radio. Tell people when they can hear you.
Right. So I do radio on Mondays and Thursdays. It's live at 9 a.m. on AM 1470 on WWNN. And you can also catch the replay on Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. and Saturday at noon, so on AM 1470. And so you can catch me on the radio quite a bit. I do an hour show where I get to babble on like this and talk about food quality. And
it's
talk
not
about
a babble. It's great.
But it actually is quite related. So most people don't think of meat as being inflammatory when it really is. So when our cows are fed grain and corn instead of grass, they end up with a fatty acid profile that is very inflammatory. So when we have omega-6 fats that are pro-inflammatory, and we have omega-3 fats that turn off inflammation. And we end up with grain-fed cows that have an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio that's 27 to 1. And we know that we turn on inflammation in our bodies when our omega-6s to omega-3s are 4 to 1 or 5 to 1. But when we feed our cows grass, they end up with the same fatty acid profile as salmon. So you get a lot more omega-3s. It ends up being 3 to 1 omega-6 to omega-3. So we want to be putting the omega-3s back into our diet with grass-fed meat, but also with biocurcumin and with krill and fish oil. And biocurcumin is not a fatty acid, but it resolves inflammation in the same way. So we have the ability to turn off inflammation with the biocurcumin, and inflammation is the root of disease. So we need to be eating a good, healthy diet, but we also need to be turning off and resolving our inflammation, and that's where the biocurcumin comes in. So our diet, the bad fats in our diet, the sugar in our diet, the processed foods, the heavy amount of flour-based and grain-based foods that we eat turns on inflammation. And then because we don't eat fish and because we don't eat enough leafy greens and the omega-3 sources, we end up in this really vulnerable place where we can't turn inflammation off. And that's where the biocurcumin comes in. The biocurcumin helps to turn off inflammation and turn off disease in our body.
So if someone came in to you and they said, well, what about one multivitamin that's the very best? Do you have a lot of multivitamins, or do you have one that you take and everyone else should take?
Sure. So we make a few. We make the core multivitamin. That's a 3 per day, and I know that sounds sort of intimidating, but it's 1 capsule and 2 tiny little tablets, and we do that to separate the water-soluble from the fat-soluble nutrients to make sure that you absorb it really efficiently. So that's the core multivitamin. And then we have 3 more that include everything that the core multivitamin does, plus a little bit extra.
And I think that we're going to have to stop now. I'm sorry. I should never have asked you that question, because you know what? Next time we have you on, let's talk about the vitamins, okay? That's a really important thing to do, the multivitamins. But as you know, how radio, because you do it too, you have to stop when they say. So thank you very much. It was wonderful. I want everyone to go visit you. It's called Invite Health. And you can call if you want information at 561-367-8646. They're located at 2621 North Federal Highway, Boca Raton, 33431. Nicole, thank you and happy birthday, and I'll get you that whey butter.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.